Hey guys, welcome to the latest episode of A Cast of Salt. My name is Adam, and I'm joined here with Carl and Ben.
Hey,
hello.
Yo.
And we are here doing our normal thing, talking about video games and, I don't know, whatever the hell we feel like talking about.
Video games.
I used to say it's also, we do a podcast every 2 weeks, but, you know, it's about a month or so since we did the last one. Things been happening.
We do a podcast every 2 weeks, plus or minus.
Plus or minus a couple of months, yeah.
A month or two.
But, no, we didn't get coronavirus. We're okay.
We're alive.
We're all good.
For now.
Although our fucking toilet paper is just gone. I looked up for I buy my toilet paper online. It's sold out on the store. I was like,
you get yours through Who Gives a Crap, right?
Yes, which is like a environmentally sustainable toilet paper company. They're sold out too. Great.
Everybody's sold out.
Excellent.
And then we had
the panic has gone.
We had the toilet paper truck fire, which
the great toilet paper truck fire of 2020.
Hard times.
Everyone, please press F.
Oh my god,
hard times indeed.
I saw something on Twitter recently as well that was like, "Hey, we're talking about So it was like, I've never seen in the men's bathroom so many people like at the sink washing their hands, and then people underneath like were women being like, men don't wash their hands after they go to the bathroom. It was like,
what is going on right now?
You're animals. I was like, for the record, I always wash my hands. I'm a fucking monster. But I've seen people do that.
I've seen people just go in, take a whiz, and just walk straight out.
And you're like, you fucking monster.
And then similarly, it's like, when you wash your hands for 10 seconds or 20 seconds or whatever, but wash the back of your hands, wash in between your fingers. And I was listening to the radio, and the radio host was like, I never wash the back of my hands. People wash the back. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Wash your fucking hands.
How is this such a bizarre concept to people?
This is why we have pandemics.
Clean.
Yeah. This is why we have pandemics.
Because people are filthy monsters. That's why. Okay, so we're gonna move into our gaming topics. But funnily enough, the reason we are talking about this is because the first one is actually the coronavirus.
Yes.
And especially how it's affecting a lot of events at the moment. Because obviously, and obviously, you want to say it first things like the most important things are people's health. And, you know, when we have a death toll with things, how does it affect my video games is a very shallow take. But at the same time, it is interesting to see how it actually affects, especially in the world of, like, business, rather than, like, I don't think there's any risk at the moment of being like, we're going to be short-stocked on video games or we can't make them.
The coronavirus is going to take away our video games.
Yeah. Well, there are interesting things, though, like there are backlogs on physical products to order.
Yeah.
Like I think the switches were affected, and there was a whole bunch of like PC processing parts that just are getting affected because like they get manufactured in China and they're under lockdown, so people aren't going to work. So things aren't being made, and you're like, well,
that's a really good point. I've seen a lot of PC like YouTube channels and news agencies saying if you're thinking about buying a PC, you might want to do that like now.
Yeah, because it's going to be harder and more expensive.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I mean, but I don't think this is going to be a thing where we're going to be like, you know, talking about this next year.
Yeah. No. Give it. I genuinely think give it 3 to 6 months. Things are going to calm the hell down. Yeah. Like
obviously that involves a lot of work from people that know what they're doing. Yeah. But it's not like we're just being like, well, I guess coronavirus is a thing now. Whenever these things happen, there's a group of people tirelessly working in the background to contain
keep us alive,
to get vaccines developed and out there, and get testing and all these things. And you know, so far, I don't think we've ever gotten to a point where we're like, well, this is 28 days later shit, and we're all
dying
fucked.
out.
This is it. We're done, everyone.
It is a viral apocalypse, people.
Yeah. Well, living in the city as we do, we are at a disadvantage if that actually happens.
Oh yeah, we're super fucked immediately. But yes, so there has been some disruption to actually like production and like consumer goods. But
so go easy on the people at retail if you go to buy a Switch and you can't get one.
Yeah, you're just like, well, fucking whatever.
It's not their fault.
Yeah, and also there's a big thing that we've been seeing a lot in games industry is attendance pullouts at shows. Like GDC was a big one, like GDC 2020, like nearly everyone just pulled the plug. No, sorry guys, but can't do it.
No can do.
Can't do it. Well, but that's a developer conference, so there's always kind of like, I think they're going to be, although GDC is one of these weird ones where it's a developer conference, but they do some like marketing announcements and some marketing exercises, especially with new new consoles getting released, because that's the avenue to be like, we're at GDC, we're going to talk about some of the more nitty gritty tech stuff, where people in the games industry will really love that, and it will get reported on, and we will consume that news. Yeah, where maybe like someone turning up to E3 just want to know is what are the games that plays,
when are we expecting,
how much they're going to be, where can I buy it, all that kind of stuff. Or when can I buy it? So so I think there's a bit of a different target audience, but like we still do get a lot of news out of GDC. But everyone was just like, nope.
Sorry, no, but
international travel, like, honestly, it's not worth the risk, and it's not. To be honest, it's really not. To
be on that point, it makes sense. Like, it is a sensible thing to do. In my mind, I think the hysteria and the fear around coronavirus is a little bit extreme at the moment. It's a little bit blown out of proportion. But these points of going, hey, don't go to conferences. Don't get large groups of people in notoriously going to conferences and spaces that is notoriously known for getting
sick.
Yeah, making people sick.
Pass around
on the topic of large groups of people, I don't know if you've seen in the news lately that one of the infected people in New Zealand went to see Tool before he realized
that he was sick.
Yeah. And that's the kind of thing, like, I'd be like kind of thinking about, like, do I want to go to a concert right now? Do I want to go to, and obviously wherever you're in this country is different. Like, at the moment in New South Wales, there's 30 cases or something, or 40 cases. Something
in Australia, it's like 50 something.
Yeah, which is not nothing, but at the same time, it's not like China where everyone's just like, it's fucking rampant. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So, like, again, you gotta, assess the risk levels, but at the same time, you're like, well, I'm going to be exposing myself to more people. Hey, PAX is coming up. I usually get, like, you go to PAX and then you go get the PAX pox for the week after because people are filthy and then you get sick. So
if PAX was happening right now,
you'd be like, fuck no, I'm not going.
Yeah.
Like, I usually get sick afterwards. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
And it's not like people's fault, like people are deliberately trying to get other people sick, but that's just how stuff spreads. Especially with the incubation time being 2 weeks, you don't know.
You just don't know.
You don't know if you're sick or not.
Yeah.
And then by that time
you go to PAX and then you get sick afterwards, and you honestly wouldn't know whether it was something that you picked up there or something that you had beforehand with an incubation time that long.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also because coronavirus in 80% of people is only very mild symptoms. Some people will be like, it's probably not corona. It's just a cough. It's a bit of a cold.
Nothing big deal. Not a big deal.
They have it and they pass it to someone else.
Yeah, and it becomes a big deal for someone else. Yeah.
So, again, it's a lot of those big things. But a really interesting thing that I was kind of thinking of is like, so E3 already is kind of looking shaky. It's been shaky for a bit from other reasons as well.
Yeah.
People have just been pulling out because they don't see the business reason for going to E3.
Are you suggesting that the coronavirus is going to kill E3?
Potentially.
That is a hot take right there.
Well, wait. So you mean
could be the nail in the coffin.
As in like all together.
It could be.
Not just hey, we can't do it this year. We'll postpone it, or we can't do it right now. We'll postpone it for a couple of months. But no, so, it is what? E3 is no longer viable.
Well, okay, so
we're wrapping this shit up.
They're already at a point where people are pulling out because business reasons, and they're like, listen, Nintendo, doesn't make sense to come. Sony, no, not in our business model. Xbox is Microsoft's the only big players to still go that aren't like actual individual
like studios or publishers.
The platform
developers.
Right.
So they're the only ones really sticking by it, and then there's the Ubisoft conference and EA.
This is a scorching red hot take you got here.
So if coronavirus gets worse, and so what recently happened is they just lost their creative director of E3, and with like a few months after the show. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing people drop off not because it's a business decision, but because coronavirus. And then,
but that just compounds on top of it.
I wouldn't be surprised is if once companies go to like Microsoft need to tell their Xbox message, and they will want to continue all the good press they've been getting with the Series X.
Yeah.
So if they can't do it at E3, because they will be doing it at E3, if they can't do it at E3,
They'll do
they're
their
gonna
own
have to
thing.
do it online, right?
Or
They're gonna have to do some,
or they can do their own thing.
or their own thing, or something. But once they've done their own thing once,
They're like,
what's them to stop being like,
you know what?
That wasn't so hard.
that was
Yeah.
actually pretty easy.
This-
Let's
in
just keep
fact-
doing that.
in fact, this was better for us.
Like other businesses would just be like, you know what? We didn't actually need them.
Yeah.
So
And then we're going to see more people drop out
So at
because
that-
of business reasons.
So if Microsoft
Okay.
drops out, at
And
that
that could
point,
be the
you've
nail.
at that point you've basically just got the
if Microsoft drops out,
publishers.
it's dead.
you got the
It's
major
gone.
you got the major publishers still going.
It becomes a publisher event. It stops being for everybody.
But the reason is because E3 is always supposed to be a like an actual journalist event, like an actual for journalists to go and cover it.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a trade show. But the rebranding of this year, and I think it was last year as well, is it's supposed to be like, or this year is like they're rebranding it to being a fan and an influencer event.
Yeah.
because they're pivoting because people are leaving.
Yeah.
So, and then publishers weren't happy about that.
No.
And, yeah. So
because that basically just makes it another con, right?
Yeah, exactly. It just makes it
becomes
PAX,
it
basically.
becomes a PAX. It becomes a game con, and publishers. To be fair, that could still be viable for publishers, but they need to rethink what that is. So.
Yeah, that's right. Publishers have a very different strategy going into a PAX than they do into an E3 typically.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I think that with all of these other little things that are going in and the fact that people are already kind of pulling away, I think coronavirus might be the thing that someone just goes, you know what? We've done online once. That worked really well. We're done. We're not coming back.
The straw that broke the camel's back.
That could be
That
it.
is a bold prediction. We'll see
I'm
what
very
happens.
curious to see how it pans out.
Yeah.
I imagine there'll be a few people that won't want it to fall to the wayside, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Like E3.
Yeah, E3 specifically. But yeah, no, very, very curious to see how that pans out. That's a very.
I see it being easily being disrupted for at least for 1 year.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure it'll be the end of it. Maybe if the platform holders drop out, maybe they'll
pivot.
They'll pivot and refocus it around the publishers and give them
more sway,
more sway, more time, more space, that sort of thing. You know.
Yeah. To be fair, even things like PAX and whatnot, they're constantly changing. They're constantly pivoting. Remember, like 4 years ago, we went and they had that huge League of Legends stand.
Yeah.
And they had the big open floor space for the big games and whatnot and the big publishers. But then over time, the indie section grew a little bit more. And like
to its benefit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Open board games is the best part of that fucking place.
Open board games grew
always.
more. So like
every year is always the best.
This stuff is always pivoting and changing to suit the needs of
the people
that are paying to be there, right?
But that's the interesting thing, though. They're pivoting based on the current needs and trends of what the average person, you and me, are rocking up because what we like.
What we want. Yeah.
But
whereas
E3 is like, this is a news event, but not anymore. So how are they going to change their model?
I don't think it stops being a news event. Like they allow the punters in.
Yeah.
But they're not the audience. The audience is
The journalists.
the journalists and the publisher. The audience is the journalists and the customer is the publishers.
Yeah.
Right? You know? So what if the platform holders drop out, what will they want?
Yeah.
I don't have the answer, but that's what they need to figure out.
Yeah, but it is definitely interesting to see how like these things are going to change. I think the E3 will. So much has been going on. I think no matter what, and I think coronavirus is just like another nail in it. That E3 is going to be more like very different. Very soon. I think it's going to change dramatically.
I mean, for God's sake, they're threatening to cancel the Olympics.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. Which that would be if they cancel that. Like that is an event that I'm like. I can definitely understand that they would do that.
Yeah.
And I think countries might optionally pull out because that's happened in other Olympics.
Yeah.
Like, optionally, like, we're not
God, that
sending-
would be heartbreaking, though, wouldn't it?
for the athletes. Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
It's devastating.
100%.
But, that's...
Yeah.
A lot of athletes go, you know what, fuck it, I still want to go.
Yeah.
Like, I still want to go and I'll just roll the dice and not get corona. Yeah. I don't care. I spent 4 years of my life. I don't give a shit.
I am going.
Yeah,
See,
I'm fucking
that's
going.
what I was getting at when we were discussing this previously is if put yourself in the shoes of the athlete and going, okay, sometimes it's a country-based, or often it's a country-based thing. And it's like, we're sending out athletes and we're supporting and sponsoring and funding and whatever. But then there's a lot of situations where the athletes themselves foot the bill and just go.
Yeah.
In those situations where it's just like, well, I don't, like,
I'm
this
fucking
this
going.
is my choice. And I'm at the peak of my health. Like, I am one of the healthiest people on the face of the planet right now.
You know, if I die, fucking kill me. I don't care. I'm not really
or if I get this thing, I'll probably be okay.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go and compete because that's what I've spent my last 4 whatever years training for.
Longer,
and I think that's the message that I'd like to leave this segment about the outbreak on, is that if you're relatively healthy, if you don't have any major ailments, you're probably going to be just fine. So don't panic, be sensible, and protect the people that need it.
Yes.
Which also means, like, if you're sick, stay home from work.
Yeah.
All right.
Go to work. Anyway.
Good way to end that one.
Health update.
Let us move on.
Continue. Okay, so the next one is going to be a bit of a quick one, which is there has been a Lootbox update, everyone.
And everyone, quick, hit the Lootbox alarm.
You know how much we love loot boxes.
So, very quickly, there has been some new news, especially for Australia, that there has been somewhat like a proposal, I think, about... I might need to pull this up. So, there'll be actually, like, you'll need to verify your age and provide ID. Coming from... so basically kind of saying, well, it's considered virtual gambling at this point. I think Australia...
So what does that mean for literally every game in the Android and Apple store?
They're not loot. That's the thing. They're microtransactions. They're not loot boxes.
Are they?
Yeah.
It depends.
You pay for currency,
And it does depend on the game.
It depends on the game.
There will
like,
be some
like
mobile games with loot boxes, but
there's like gacha games. There's an entire name for the genre, right?
Yes, true. Basically, like, I think internationally we've been a bit behind. We've been more at the forefront than like a lot of like the US and shit. But like, I think like when we talk about other countries like Belgium and a whole bunch of other things, like we've been pushing loot boxes. Like, we've been doing lots of inquests and like actually checking things out. So I know I've seen in a lot of US media being like, oh, Australia's like right out in front of like asking the questions and interviewing people, and I'm like, and then we have never really vote because Australia has a huge gambling problem.
Yeah. the country
and subsequent media people also, what does the Murdoch family own apart from media? Oh, they own casinos, don't they?
Yeah.
I wonder what happens when legislation gets passed in this country.
But the thing is, do they have any interest in loot boxes?
No.
So but any specifically,
but any strengthening of gambling regulation in this country gets squashed.
Is not going to be...
So what you're saying is maybe it won't matter if loot boxes end up being classified as gambling because gambling legislation here is so lax to begin with.
Yes. Well, basically. So, like, there's a lot of stuff that... So it will be interesting to see what happens, but I think that on a global scale, we are doing more work than most, but I'm still kind of like being like, okay, because traditionally people have been like very lax about gambling regulation in this country. Very, very lax. I mean, ironically enough, who can have a license to gamble is very strict.
Yes,
because of course it is. Because you don't want people to come into the market because that would be competition.
You do not want competition.
Laws about like, oh, by the way, we're going to have drinking bans in the city past a certain time, which kills like nightlife, music venues, all of that shit. Well, the one place that's exempt, it's the Star Casino. Wonder why? Probably because the owners paid a shitload of money and they're friends with the Premier of the state. You're like cool, excellent. So, New South Wales in particular has a very strange history with gambling. So it is good to see some progress on it, but... You know, who knows? We'll see what will happen. But this is definitely a step in the direction of loot boxes are gambling, and this is something that's going to have to be regulated.
Just 1 second.
Yes.
I think it's actually quite possible that they'll come down hard on loot boxes because like you said,
Competition.
no, yeah. Well, the reason that they're so
For corruption.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's good but not good.
No. The reason that they're so lax on gambling is, like you said, because they all know each other, right?
Yeah. Yes.
You know?
So this is
favors for friends.
This is an external
None of
party.
those people are invested in loot boxes, or at least I don't think they are. So what reason do they have to protect them?
Why would they let them into the
That is
circle?
true.
So the line will be, oh, they're not gambling, but we're going to restrict them.
Yeah.
Because they're real close to gambling, but they're not gambling.
They're not gambling,
Yeah.
but they're targeting children.
Yeah.
So that's bad.
We must
Yeah.
protect the children.
Yeah.
Won't somebody
Please
think of the children?
Yeah.
My question on this matter is, how effective would it be to say, well, we're saying might need to verify your age before purchasing. How effective do you think that's going to be? So my thought pattern on the matter...
I just think of like the porn sites.
Yeah.
Are you 18? Click yes. Yes or no. And you're like,
okay.
yes.
So, no. But my point is, in just thinking about this, I'm like, okay, how would they go about implementing it?
I have no idea.
It would look at your profile on Xbox, for example, and say, this profile, you've set up your profile. It says you were born in 1998. How old are you now if you're 1998? You're already 20. You're fine, right? Yeah. No, 1998. Yeah, you would be.
Yeah.
So let's say 2010. Let's say you were born 2010. It's like, okay,
You're 10 years old.
You're too young. You can't.
You're
you can't purchase.
Forget loot boxes. You're too young to be using Xbox Live at all.
So
Man.
that's one way that they would look to implement or look
But then
to
someone could just
gate
put
it.
in a different
But then
age,
you just
right? So,
when you set up your account
but then there
or
has to be
you
a thing
update
like,
your
do you have
account.
to verify with ID that you are over 18?
So that's my point, right?
Just send them a
it's
photo
like,
of my driver's license and be
what-
like, I'm 18, guys.
What would that look like?
What happened?
How would
Would
they
you
go
would you
about
feel
enforcing
comfortable
that?
sending EA a copy of your
Holy
driver's license?
shit, no. Absolutely not.
So where I'm going with this is I think fantastic. It's a absolutely fantastic step in the right direction to go, yes, let's restrict it. Let's find a ways to manage this and control this
Yes.
and prevent loot boxes from just being a norm that you introduce to 4-year-old kids to start gambling away before they even know that they're doing right or wrong. But enforcing it is historically being a difficult,
Very difficult.
Yeah.
difficult thing to do. So I'd be A, curious to see how they'd go about it. B, hopeful that they find a good, effective way to manage it. But I'm definitely not going to hold my breath on that point there.
Yeah, I reckon.
So
Because if they actually go down the line of trying to enforce it strictly, not just the token way, then they're going to make it such a pain in the ass that they'll likely kill the entire mechanic
box
altogether.
Yeah. So this kind of brings on the
I
next
mean,
thing.
I'd probably be okay with that, but
yeah. So,
for me, that's not a bad idea.
So this brings it forward as well. Is like Bungie have announced that the next season of Destiny 2, their loot box system is going to be removed from the game. So what they will have,
Nice.
they will because they're called bright engrams. Like
Yeah.
the items you pick up are engrams, and like the bright engram is generally like you unlock it and you get a whole bunch of random cosmetics shit in there.
yeah.
And you can do a few things to get bright engrams. You can just earn them. Like if you gain a level, like you just get a bright engram, whatever. Cool. And that's how I've got all mine. I've never paid for.
how very Overwatch.
Yes. And then there's also there's stuff like if you do a certain mission, you might get like a bright engram for it or whatever. And so there's also if you have the season pass. Then like you'll
Like on a monthly basis
you'll
or whatever.
get bright engrams as part of the thing. It's just as like the season pass is generally like content.
Yeah.
But it'll be like, oh, you also get here's some free shit.
some stuff.
Here's some stuff. So you can the bright engrams will still be a part of the game. You can still earn them. You can still do whatever. But the idea of you going up to the
buy them.
like the is Everstore? Yeah. You going up to the Eververse store. You going up to that store and being like, here is money. Like you punch your credit card details in and it gives you some engrams or gives you glimmer to buy. No, not glimmer. It gives you the fucking currency, to buy
whatever the currency is.
Yeah, because you got to remember, you've always got to go via some form of currency, because otherwise, that's gambling.
That is gambling.
Yeah.
Yes.
It has to be, I am buying this one for one thing. in game, and then that 1-for-1 thing becomes what you gamble.
That's a good point. That's a good point actually, because I remember Hearthstone didn't have that misdirection.
The in-game
bought a pack.
It was just straight up.
Cards are very different though.
Yeah.
Trading card games have kind of got this nebulous zone of being like, but you are getting because physical would be like you're getting a physical product. They might not be good, but you're buying a pack of cards, and you can say, "I got a pack of cards."
You are buying 15 pieces of cardboard.
Yes. No matter what. And like, so you are buying a product, and no matter what, you are getting cards. So even like the gacha machines, when you turn the crank, you get a toy. No matter what, you get a toy.
So, so Carl, the value we place on the cards may vary, but the actual print of the cards themselves cost the exact same thing. So
God, that is when you look at it that way, that is an obscene markup, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's sort of like 15 cents. $7.
So regardless of what the card is, the manufacturer, the publisher of that card,
same thing.
It's just a piece of cardboard.
Yeah.
You are right.
Yeah.
They've just put a different color on this one. So
or some different words.
This means
the
so much more.
And the $150 a card.
I will sell my home for this one piece of cardboard.
And the instant they acknowledge that some cards are worth more than others is when that whole facade falls apart.
Yeah.
So that's why okay.
You just get cards.
You're just getting cards. Yeah.
So
okay. So I think that's a fantastic thing.
I have a question.
I'm curious though.
I have a question about this. Were you previously able to buy premium items just directly?
You could break down items that you didn't
want.
I believe you could.
And then
craft.
actually,
I don't believe so. I don't think you could. You couldn't directly go get stuff.
So where they're saying that now you can actually buy the items directly, that's actually new.
Yeah.
That's super new.
Yeah.
Yes.
And honestly,
which is fine. I think people are fine with that. Being like, hey, that skin's cool. I want that skin. I'll pay a couple bucks.
I have. I don't know about. Maybe strongly in favor of is too strong an endorsement. But I've always been, I guess, okay. With selling skins in games. I mean, for God's sake, I played League of Legends and spent tons of money on skins.
But the thing is, that is a product, and you might not disagree. You're like, well, why would I pay $3 for like a skin? That's dumb. But the thing is, though,
entirely up to
you pay money, you get a thing, and that's a transaction. That is commerce. That is normal buying and selling of goods and services.
There's no chance involved.
There's no I'm gonna pay $1 and maybe get something good. Maybe 2% chance. Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to buy that item 30 times to get a good chance of getting the thing that I want.
Yeah,
spend $30.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm very for this as well. I'm glad that what's it called? Destiny has done that. 100% in line in terms of the model of going, screw the loot boxes, you just buy the shit that you want. I'm
actually thinking though, a bit like if companies are starting to see this as like poison, and you see they are, because like people go to E3 and the marketing their game with hashtags of no loot boxes. Fuck, you guys are making effectively a joke about what you guys used to do. About how bad you are. It's very bizarre.
It's been an incredibly swift turnaround, hasn't it?
So what I think is when people
we've gone from peak loot box in, was it 2018?
Like,
was it 2018?
I reckon 18.
Yeah. To being like, nope, we don't have any of that shit.
Look at us, we don't have loot boxes.
In like a year and a half, if that.
So
but honestly, I think it's funny though that like the market, and I'm not a fan of like, well, the market will correct itself, because the people raised the fucking stink about this. If they didn't do that, the market would have kept on. It would have kept on.
That is the market correcting itself. That is
putting. I don't know. That's bullshit to me, for sure.
It is bullshit. No, but that's
what people do mean by that.
That's the nature of the beast.
How many people either didn't buy Battlefront or bought it and then gave it up because of the loot boxes in it?
I think also people kick the reason the original shying away from loot boxes was not just because there was backlash originally. People didn't give a shit. People kept making the games. But what happened is when there was a sense in the air of regulation coming, they're like, oh, maybe we need to get out of this. So it's funny because like I honestly think it's going to be funny when we get to a point where if regulation starts coming about loot boxes and no one is doing loot boxes anymore.
Yeah.
But the idea is, I think the idea of threatening legislation is enough for a lot of people to be like,
things to change.
Whoa, okay, we gotta fucking get out of this while we can.
I'm still very much for the regulations coming into place.
Yes.
Just because in 5 years someone might just be like, everybody's gone quiet on loot boxes. Time to bring that shit back.
Yeah, people love loot boxes.
Yeah, it'll be just old enough for people to be nostalgic about it. Like, man, maybe loot boxes weren't that bad.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna slap anyone that's nostalgic about loot boxes.
Yeah, all right. Man, my favorite part of Overwatch, the loot boxes.
Loot boxes were the bomb.
The best.
No. No.
So, didn't you love opening up a loot box and then not getting anything worthwhile?
Getting 3 of the same skins that you already have.
It was so great when you didn't get it.
Yeah, that feeling, so good.
Loved it.
All right,
Loved every
moving
second
on.
of it. Yes.
But yes, so yeah, that's interesting. All right, cool. So we've got Stadia. There's been some news.
Yeah, so that's been in the news lately. So I don't know, did we ever actually cover that on the podcast?
Oh,
before?
God, yes.
Yeah, numerous
We had
times.
a whole episode on it.
And
then we touched on it again. And yes, we've definitely talked about it.
Stadia's good for views.
So,
People love watching this thing go down in flames.
Yeah, so I don't know if did anyone other than me actually watch the Game Awards last year?
Yeah, I did. Yes.
Did you see the Stadia ads?
They were bad. They were an atomic bomb of just very bad.
Explain, because I didn't see it.
So an atomic bomb. Yeah, basically it was Sky Blue from
it was just like the
LMFAO, the old dude.
Right. And that was it, like...
Yeah, and he was like talking about like it was this weird vaporwave kind of thing, and it was
like
just
like hamming it up, like
he was like
really overacting
trying to use a
gaming,
like
it was
some name that the kids will love and be behind.
The kids will love LMFAO in 2019.
Emphasis on trying.
Yeah. So I was watching that and I was thinking to myself, well, number one, I was thinking to myself, wow, this is bad.
Yeah.
But number two, I was thinking to myself, who is this pitched at?
It just reeks of a...
Who is this for?
It just reeks of a company, like, of marketing executives being like, this is what the kids want.
Yeah.
It's like, Holly, how do you do...
Hello, how do you do, fellow gamers?
Yeah, basically. And you're just
kids.
like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah.
Like, well, and very, very briefly, like, so we said, before we started recording, we looked at the, like, Valorant has just come out, which is the, new Riot Games game. And
we are going to tie this back to the Stadia news in a minute. Just
hold
on.
But it was interesting to see like the way that they were like their advertising was just like, hey, this is our internal, like we shot some footage of a internal alpha testing, internal developer testing we were doing, and we thought it'd be cool to share it with you.
Yeah.
And they just put out the footage, and it was developers talking shit to each other, playing the game. They're obviously comfortable with playing.
Edited only just enough to not get demonetized on YouTube.
Yeah. and it was just kind of like watching people play a game. And I was like, cool. That's what gamers want to see. Like, how does this thing play? That looks cool. I can kind of see. I can see
this
people
is how
playing
this works.
This definitely looks like it's kind of like a Overwatch. Art inspired by like Overwatch, maybe a bit of Fortnite, kind of that kind of bright color scheme of CS:GO.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
the gameplay was pure Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
So, and to that point, I do believe it was targeted at people that would play Counter-Strike, people that would play Overwatch and things like that. And to your point, and not necessarily all gamers might be interested in that kind of a promotional piece, but people that play Counter-Strike, people that play Overwatch would be like, that's what I want to see.
That's
I want to know what the game looks like.
What is this game?
Yeah.
What is this game? And people look at it and go, great, that is the game that I really want to play. Like, the game, it looks alright.
Yeah.
Well, that game's not for me. But it clearly tells you what the game is. It's not like this hollow fellow kids moment where you're just like, what the fuck is this? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Tell me, why should I buy Stadia? Don't show me some vaporwave shit of Sky Blue coming through my fucking house window. Like, it's insane.
Right.
It's crazy.
And flying into the TV and some, whatever.
Yeah. Like, it's just weird. It makes no sense.
So Stadia came out last year. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say that that highlights to me the fact that this is Google only just delving into the game industry.
They don't know what they're doing.
They don't know what they're doing. They don't know
doing.
the audience. They don't know anything. But they've got so much money to throw at this that they can put something together. And then now they're just like, hey, kids, how's this for you?
Does this work? And you're like, no.
Hey, kids. Wow, that's creepy.
Yeah.
So hopefully they will get their shit together and figure something else out. But it's very blatant and obvious that they just don't know what they're doing.
Spoiler alert.
They
haven't got their shit together.
So Stadia came out last year, and it was sort of like it was a release, but it was also wasn't a full release. You could
Free versions coming out later. We don't know when.
We don't
Soon. It hasn't come out yet.
because you're supposed to be able to use Stadia, like regardless if you have a Chromecast Ultra, but you can't do that yet. You have to be on the Stadia Pro subscription.
Yes.
So already you're paying a subscription to get the service.
So the idea is it's a free service, and you can buy games through Stadia.
Yeah.
That go to your library
and
then
is
you can just
available
play
to
and
you.
stream them.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Which that part of the business model,
Fantastic.
That tracks.
Yeah.
I mean, I would just rather a subscription service like Xbox Game Pass or any of their other shit that's a better value proposition.
But
either way, paying games.
Can I just interrupt for a second? They may not have actually had a choice on that one. Some other news recently that's been coming down the pipeline about another streaming service suggests that the publishers are not okay with that.
Yes, but that
Microsoft can only get away with it because they're Microsoft.
Oh no, but the thing is, the difference is they're subsidizing because they're saying pay $10 a month for whatever's in our library, and then they're organizing between the publishers to get their own cuts and things.
Yeah.
So that's different. The GeForce issue, which is people pulling out, is because they were like, hey, if you've bought this game already on Steam, if you sign up for our service, you can play those games on our service as long as we have those games on our service as well.
Yeah.
Then you can play it. And then publishers are like, fuck no.
It's like,
hell no.
It's like,
they have to buy that game.
Yeah.
They have to either pay you or you have to give us a cut or something. And and GeForce, like Nvidia were like, that's not how it's going to work. And they're like, well, we're pulling our fucking games off your service then.
If we're not making more money off of this.
To them, they're like, we're not making anything out of this.
So that's why I'm thinking maybe Google weren't able to get a streaming deal with the publishers that they wanted.
The thing that sucks about this is that the idea of like so they have the free version of Stadia that hasn't come out yet. So people have to use Stadia. They have to use their Pro subscription.
Yep.
Which is $10 or $10 US or $12 US a month, I think.
Something like that.
So it's like $20 Australian, and then they have to, which entitles to them.
It's not available in Australia.
No, but like that. Yeah. I'm just saying
it would be
for Australian listeners. That's effectively how much you're thinking about. $20.
Yep.
And then you think, okay, I've got all that. I now get. I think Stadia Pro is like you get a game a month or something. I think like you get some
you get something. I think it's that you might get access. Hang on, I'm going to check.
Yes, okay, check. But you do get
There's
something.
Some perks to being.
But the idea at the moment, they currently exist in a system where you have to pay, $12 US a month to be on it, service, and then you have to buy your games as well.
Yep.
So and then
if you get a Stadia Pro subscription, you get a complimentary game every now and then. So far,
so not even a given amount.
You've gotten free Destiny 2.
Yes.
Okay.
And you sometimes get discounts.
Hey, guess what? Do you know what game went free to play like a couple of months ago?
Destiny 2.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Real cool, guys.
Yeah.
Real cool.
The other thing,
you get this game for free. It is free. I know.
Yeah, right?
Because you with Stadia. No, I could literally download this on PC right now and play for free.
Yes.
Yep. But don't leave, please.
Keep paying us anyway.
You also can't stream 4K unless you're on Stadia Pro.
Right.
You can't get surround sound unless you're on Stadia Pro.
Oh, okay.
Cool. I just see like this the business model is
the
other fucking mess.
Now the other thing about Stadia is that it has fuck all games. Yeah. And most of them are not cutting edge games. They're AAA games,
and
but
there's
they're
only a few exclusives as well. So there's no real reason to dip in.
Yeah, most of the games on Stadia are AAA games, but they're not recent ones.
Yes,
they're not from like the last 6 months. They're earlier,
a couple of years,
2 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just seems like they're in this place where it's like, who the fuck knows? And we consistently keep hearing this thing. Like there was some reports recently that there was a big interview with a whole bunch of devs, and they said and the through line for all the developers were like, we don't trust that Google is going to support this platform.
Yeah.
That's why we're not making
yes,
for it.
yes.
Which is just the worst article for Stadia to come out. The developers, are like, yeah, they approached us and we said no because we don't think that they're going to...
They'll support it.
No, that's... Okay, that's a bit unfair.
Right.
I mean, because I agree with them.
Yeah.
But it is a bit unfair because the other thing was that Google didn't really give them any incentive to put it on Stadia. Now, I mean, it's sort of like, I'm not suggesting that. I've gone on record saying that I don't like what Epic Games have done with the Epic Game Store and basically just bought exclusives.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm not all about that. That platform owners should have to pay developers to put games on their platform.
Yeah.
But if you're coming to somebody and you're saying put games on our platform and your platform has fuck all players because it's in sort of like a weird pre-release state.
Yeah.
And
except not because people are paying for it. Like,
yeah, and it has very few other games, and you're sort of like, well, you got to tell me why I should put my games on this platform, and they're like, because we're Google.
Yeah.
And then
it'd be good for you. Why?
And then the reaction is that's actually a strike against it because you've got a track record of abandoning projects that don't work.
There's a website dedicated to listing all of Google's
the shit that you've
products.
done that you just don't. And that was going to be my next point of how likely do you think this is going to die? Like,
I think
at the current stage where it's at.
Well, they're trying.
Unless it actually unless they pull a rabbit out of their hat and it suddenly gets traction, I reckon there's a greater than 50% chance that it'll be dead within 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, Carl, you said recently that there was some news that just came out about if you buy a Chromecast.
Hold on.
If you buy a Chromecast Ultra, you get 3 months of Pro. So they're definitely still trying to get people
figure out.
But also, I'd be so salty. I'd be like, listen, I paid my money to get Pro to be an early backer.
Yeah.
And get my Ultra and get everything, get the controller pack and all that shit. I get it. I get my 3 months of Pro. The 3 months are up. I'm now paying money per month for nothing because like the games,
nothing's coming. There are no games.
The system doesn't work that well.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of issues, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, if you buy a Chromecast Ultra, we'll give you 3 months free." And you're like, "Fix the fucking system."
Yeah.
People aren't on it because it's not working.
Yeah. Well,
people don't like it.
I'm super curious as to it does actually seem like a viable system in my mind. Like as a technical
streaming
concept,
games,
makes sense. No, and it's not for everybody.
Maybe not for our market, but I think there will be.
I can appreciate that it's not for everybody. For it. But I see it as a technical, from a technical perspective. It holds in that sense. I think to the earlier point of Google being very new to this, I think they've just made some very bad decisions. Generally, a lot of these things. Think Apex Legends. Think any big new game that's come in. Every game these days goes, here's this free thing. Get 1 million people, 2 million people, 10 million people onto it, and then start finding ways to monetize. Then start finding ways to... You need that base. And for whatever reason, they haven't worked towards building that base.
Yeah, whereas Google's come out of the door and said, here's our new platform, and if you want to play, you got to pay.
And people and
it's not only that you got to pay, you got to buy the Chromecast Ultra, and then you've got to pick a game that you want to buy,
and the controller,
yeah. So it's super bizarre to me that they've gone this way rather than going, here's the free version first, and then in a couple of months or in 6 months,
only 1080. Oh man,
yeah.
I wish I could stream in 4K.
Fantastic.
Pro's got that, and people like, upgrade to Pro.
Here's this thing. Here's these things that you don't have in the free version. Pay us a bit of a fee, and you'll get these other bells and whistles. That is generally, from a business perspective, the smarter approach.
As you said, I can't actually think why they would.
Why would you do it the other way around?
Would they release free and then release Pro with 4K streaming and all this stuff?
Yeah.
Pro's in the pipeline, 4K streaming, all this cool stuff that you want. That is coming.
Yes.
Whereas they've gone with the hard mode release up front and charge and put the. So
I'm super curious as to be like, what was the decision?
Because someone
what
could
was
be
the
like,
thinking?
hey, I'm going to buy this new game, but then you're like, well, I've got Stadia and I've tested it out and it plays pretty well. So I'll buy it on Stadia.
Just get it on Stadia.
Yeah,
because it's free.
Yeah.
Or it's like you get into the end of the console cycle, right? A game might be coming out. I don't know what's a good example. Like Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk's coming out at the end of this year. The end of this year, at the end of the console cycle. You can play it on those consoles, but it might not be at the fidelity as you get on a PC or the next console. And you're also like, man, I can't afford to upgrade my PC system. Yeah. I can't afford to buy the new console at launch. What am I going to do? I want more than what I can get on my current system. There's Stadia for you.
That's where Stadia would fit very well.
So here's this is a really interesting point, because I think this is something that we're talking about more, because the idea of like we consume a lot of our stuff like Netflix, and a lot of our entertainment is as a service.
Now,
and we've had games as a service for a while, like live service games.
Live services.
Yes, the Jimquisition obligatory quote. But I think it's interesting that because we're going to be talking about gaming, not games as a service, but gaming as a service.
Yeah.
And I think there's a big market for that. I think Xbox...
gaming as a service. Mountain Dew and Doritos delivered to your door.
Straight into your veins.
Injected straight into your veins.
I think, though, that there is a market for that, because Game Pass is a fantastic value proposition for people. There's this huge library of games
that's just
$10 a month.
Available at your fingertips.
And you just go fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It does. That is the reason to own an Xbox over a PS4 today.
How good? And the thing is, and they have been like Phil Spencer of Xbox has been pushing this so hard with Series X as well.
Yeah,
that is a core proponent.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that is fucking great. And then they're gonna have xCloud as well, which is their gaming streaming service using and it's funny because Microsoft are in a really strong position to do this, where Sony not so much, because Sony needs to start leveraging either they have to go to Amazon through AWS services, or they're going to have to go through, funnily enough, Microsoft.
You're talking about the actual compute power.
The thing is, Google has their own platform because they're one of the big four.
Yep.
Microsoft
have their own platform.
Microsoft has their own platform, and Amazon has their own platform. They're basically the three big players in the cloud computing space.
And Sony's just not a part of that.
Well, because they're not part of that space. Where those companies are a lot more like Microsoft is a huge company with lots of divisions and lots of fingers in lots of different places.
Yeah, it's like they do. We talk about them on this show as Xbox in terms of their gaming market, but that's not all that they do. They do cloud computing. They do business software.
Services.
That's my job. My actual job is business application software for Microsoft.
They do business services. They do hardware.
Yeah,
Surface Book, etc.
So I think that's very interesting. Like Microsoft are positioned really well, and actually recently they actually had a huge spike in Azure,
usage.
People do see Amazon's AWS service as the better service, as the best cloud service at the moment.
It's like the default.
It's assumed to be the default. Having said that, though, there's been a few things recently. And like people have been looking at like business and stock prices and a whole bunch of things, but what Microsoft have pivoted to, they've been pivoting really hard into their cloud computing. Generally, just across, they are looking at taking on Amazon. Basically, they want Azure to be the top dog. But it also dovetails so perfectly into their gaming with Xbox with xCloud. Like I honestly think Xbox are so well positioned. Like I know. Without a doubt, this generation of consoles, PS4 has ripped Xbox One apart limb from limb. It's not even comparable.
It's like
I love Xbox, but it's just dead.
Adam's gonna talk up Xbox. Stop the presses.
It's dead. Completely dead. Having said that, though, I think they've done really well with their marketing so far of the Series X, where we've heard fuck all from
about
Sony.
PlayStation,
and we've had some leaked details, which, to be honest, have been less than the Series X. Like, it's been a lower spec. It's been the same, nothing too fancy. Like, okay. Some of the games that we've got coming for it look good, but...
I mean, that's not a guarantee, because remember the Xbox was supposed to be higher spec than the PS4, but often... underperformed for some reason.
So we'll have to see all that kind of stuff. But I think, though, that from a marketing perspective, that they're positioned really well, because they've got a service, a gaming as a service platform that people really like, that is cheap, that has lots of games on it. People love it, and they've recognized that, and they're promoting that.
They're
they've
pushing
also
it.
got their own cloud their own cloud architecture to run an actual business like Stadia, and then they can just merge that straight in with the hardware to say, listen, Carl, own an Xbox. If you want to play your console games, just play them. Buy a disc, put it in. Don't even worry about it. If you want, though, you can pay. So you can pay $10 a month for Game Pass. You could probably pay extra, or they could even combine them into one thing.
I imagine they would.
How about you? Game Pass now includes you pay $15 a month for Game Pass, but that comes with xCloud.
Game Pass X,
and then you can just start playing it on your tablet, on your phone, and then all of a sudden it's just like...
You're talking to the wrong guy, because I wouldn't use the streaming service.
But yes.
But that said...
that is just like a big umbrella of all the things that you need.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is perfect.
If I bought an Xbox, I'd sign up for Game Pass for sure.
It's just like, you've got the games, you've got the back-end architecture, you've got everything you need to make this work. So I was like, Xbox need to make Series X fucking work, because it honestly, at the moment, it's theirs to lose.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
They're in the position as a business to fucking crush it.
Nail this thing. So to our
but they could lose it. Who knows? We've seen Microsoft do worse.
To our earlier point, the reason Stadia seems to be failing is because Google has never delved, or not to this extent, into the gaming industry.
And they're trying to pick up people from around the industry,
correct,
to get that domain knowledge. But
whereas Xbox has been in the industry for what, 20?
20 years. 20 years.
So they are well entrenched into the industry. They know the industry, and they have the technology. They have the know-how to back this up. So they're very well placed to do well. Yeah. But then now, after that, I think if Xbox can nail this and show how it's done, then Google can go, shit, we stuffed up with Stadia. Great. We've seen what Xbox has done. Let us do the same thing, but better. And then bring in that competition. And then Sony will eventually go, shit, they're falling away from us. They're doing this thing that we simply can't do. Hey, let's partner with Amazon, because I'm pretty sure Amazon is going to want a piece of that pie.
Oh, yeah.
Where you have Google and Microsoft doing this thing that's this big new industry.
Oh, no. Sony needs to come up with some gaming.
So my point here is Google and Microsoft, they're doing this thing that's using cloud computing and game industry and combining the two. Sony can't do it. Amazon can't quite do it. It makes sense in my mind for Sony and Amazon to connect.
That is a business prediction. You think Sony will partner with Amazon?
I genuinely think that would be the simplest or the most obvious way to go about it.
I've heard things where they're actually going to be leasing from Microsoft and Azure.
If that's what they do.
Which I find, I'm not sure which I find more...
Well, that puts Microsoft in the heads we win, tails you lose sort of situation, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, because the thing is, because that means, they're covering their bases. They're just like, well, you guys build your own platform, whatever. Your platform could be garbage, but you're paying us for the cloud computing.
Yeah.
And you know it works because we've shown off xCloud.
Because
and
xCloud
works.
Yeah.
We're using it.
Yeah.
So that if it doesn't work for you, well, that's on you,
it's
buddy.
It's on you, not on us. It's on your implementation.
So that's the interesting thing there. Although I'm not sure whether Microsoft will want to do that. I don't know, like whether that makes sense for them.
It could make sense business-wise.
But even Phil Spencer's actually gone out, and this actually caused some waves. But I was like, he's right. He's fucking right. Where he said he didn't see Xbox's main competitors as Sony and Nintendo. He saw Google and Apple.
Yeah.
With the Apple Game Service, and he sees the platform as we're moving into
where
cloud.
We're going. Yeah,
this is going to the cloud.
So to my point,
but I think that if they make a good entry and combine, because the thing is,
shit,
what is impressive?
Now I'm like, what's Apple gonna do?
But they've already got their game service.
They do,
and people really enjoy that. It's like, hey, would you like just mobile games? Just mobile games.
Yes,
all mobile games. Pay a couple of dollars a month. Would you like the mobile games without all the pay to win mechanics and all the bullshit ads and all the stuff that you hate about mobile gaming? Would you like to pay us $10 a month?
And you just have it.
All of these games in the service and not have to deal with any of the shit you hate about mobile games? And, there's so much of a big population that is not us.
Yeah.
That are gamers.
That are into that.
Don't have consoles, don't have PCs. They are phone-only gamers.
Yeah.
They are like mum and dad. And that is just... And little kids... And that is just nailing that market.
Yeah,
that is just and lock that shit down.
And they get surprisingly hardcore about it, especially where games like Clash of Clans are involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So
imagine playing Clash of Clans and not having to fucking pay for the microtransactions.
Yeah.
People will go nuts for that shit.
So there you go. So you've got Google, you've got Apple, you've got Microsoft.
They're
all
the big
in
three
on this thing. Amazon.
You reckon Amazon?
I think they're going to be chomping. They're going to be chomping at the bit. They're going to want something.
That's interesting.
They're going to want something, and Sony is not going to want to fall behind.
I like your
Xbox,
prediction.
And they're not going to want to fall behind this new
unless
Google coming into the mix.
Amazon are basically saying like, listen, we don't.
I
think it would make
unless Amazon decide to do a Google and go, no, screw you, Sony, we're going to do our own thing. I don't see that.
I don't think they will simply because I think Amazon make. I'm going to say I think Amazon make smarter decisions than that.
Yeah.
Generally, and Amazon don't usually go for the route of
let's try
Amazon
this thing.
Quite often are not the first in.
Yeah,
they are not the first people.
Yeah,
in.
they were not the first with the cloud services. Like
no,
they've just gotten it right.
But they get it right. That's the thing. Where Google is always the first in the pool.
Yeah,
like the Google is generally and quite often to their benefit, they have struck gold and got out early and stayed
ahead. Yeah,
and that's really cool. But that's always Google's idea.
Their approach.
They can just throw money at something. If it doesn't work, fuck it. But Amazon kind of wait a little bit more, and they kind of build up their back end a lot more.
Yes.
Like again, like one day delivery and all the stuff that Amazon do. They've kind of like just given you little features, little things to us that are big wins, like and big bits of value to be like, hey, no more fucking around with all like the postal service and all this stuff. Amazon just straight to you.
Sorts you
out. It's reliable. It's a good service. We're just going to use that.
Yeah.
Makes it easy. But all of their stuff is all in the back.
Yeah.
Like all of their IP, all of their shit is all hidden away from everyone else.
Services and APIs and all that BS that they make that's just there.
And I don't think Amazon are going to want to be like, let's do a B2C like service for people to
buy
like,
for games.
I don't think that's a big.
I agree.
That's a big thing.
It's a big change from the way that they work.
They can just be like, listen, we will work.
We will provide you the service that you need
with AWS, and you
do what you need to do.
And then Sony can go out and say, well, guess what? Amazon are the ones and if their service is better, then they can say that Amazon was the one to provide better cloud infrastructure than what Microsoft did. Azure platform. I think it's really interesting.
I like the idea of it.
Although Sony, there's a lot when you talk about that, like how profits get split.
Yeah.
That if Sony's looking at that as a big piece of their pie, they don't exactly want to be giving it away. But they're gonna have to.
They're gonna
because they're either gonna give it to Microsoft or they're gonna give it to Amazon.
Yeah. So and then the other aspect there is they'll be paying Amazon for the usage. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna be coming out of their profit per se. It's going to be we are paying you for this service, and based on how much it gets used, that's how much we're going to pay you.
You pay for
right?
consumption.
That's how Amazon's services works in general.
Yeah.
And then what we as consumers do with Sony, that's entirely into Sony's pockets.
How much they charge for their service.
So it's going to be a cost versus profit situation rather than
unless they
get a share of our money.
unless they
come to some weird agreement.
Do a specific deal with them.
Yeah. Which it doesn't make sense to me, but who knows, right?
But yeah, it's very interesting though. I think, and also because I've been listening to like some business podcasts and for Amazon of what their next big move is, and I think we've already started seeing it in the US, is that they're moving into healthcare.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
To like flatten that,
yeah,
basically, because healthcare's garbage, and they're like, what if we give it the Amazon treatment?
It's an industry that is there for anybody to help fix,
to just take,
to just do better.
But I think Amazon are definitely looking at diversifying, and I think that would be their way of entering the market if they were to do that.
Let's see what they do. I'm very keen to see it.
It still surprises me that Google hasn't done a better job with Stadia.
Google does that a lot though. They come up with Glass. They come up with all this stuff. These are the big cool new ideas, and then people are like, "This sucks."
And then they're like, "Okay, never mind.
Like, okay,
leave it alone. It's dead." Yeah. So whereas the likes of, let's use Fortnite as an example, it started out shit. It started out as a game that nobody bought, and then they pivoted
and then they went, "Hey, PUBG's really popular,"
and they've come out with this better thing. If that was Google, they were like, shit, it doesn't work. Okay, next idea.
Trash it, next
Trash
idea.
it onto the next idea.
Yeah.
That is very much a Google thing versus whereas a lot of people, they don't have the money to be able to just go,
we're gonna drop it. Yeah.
Nah.
But see,
they have to innovate. They have to pivot. They have to.
That's the other thing, though, because like it's not like like you said, they're not short of cash. They could basically do whatever they want. I don't understand why they don't do. I mean, like, I'm not really sure I'd support such a move, but I don't understand why they don't pull an Epic Store and just pay developers to come onto Stadia.
I think they just don't care enough. Like, for them, it's not...
If they don't care enough, then their system is doomed to failure. Because, you have to believe that the product is the solution to a problem that people have. And if they just don't care enough to make it that product, then it deserves to fail, really.
But I think that still aligns with our earlier point of they will try something, it will strike gold, and they will keep going with that gold. They will try something else, it falls flat on its face,
and then they just
drop it like a hot sack of crap.
How many more of their ideas could have been gold if they'd
If
actually
they
if they'd gone at them, if they
A little bit
pivoted,
more.
or if they'd gone at them more wholeheartedly in the start?
A lot, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Who knows?
Probably.
Who knows?
So basically, I don't understand Google,
Yeah.
and especially, and it's like, saying that I don't know why they don't spend money on it. That's maybe not what I meant. Clearly, they have spent a lot of money on it. They spent a ton of money developing the tech that actually makes it feasible above and beyond the streaming services that have failed thus far. They spend a lot of money on advertising.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we talked about that advertisement a while back. It's garbage. But it's got names. It's got names in it and high production value, so it must have cost money.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. So yeah. To your point, a lot of businesses, and we've seen this.
So it's like
seen this as developers, where you go into something, you spent a year developing something, it looks bad because you're not hitting targets, but because you've already spent so much time and money, they're like, we can't just let this fall. We can't just leave this alone.
Yeah,
we need to spend more time and money to get this thing afloat.
Sunk cost fallacy.
It's not that they're not spending money. It's the stuff that they're spending the money on is wrong.
My point is that a lot of places get to that situation where they're like, we have no choice but to keep going. We have no choice but to stake our bets on this thing that we spent a lot of time and money on and get it better. Because
so that's what they should do. So rather than
that's what they should do, but they don't need to. They don't have that same need as everybody else.
There's a desperation in
there's
pivoting.
Eventually, it'll get to the point where Google won't be able to launch new products because nobody will trust them.
No, I don't think that's true. I do not think that's true,
But
in
Google
the sense
launches
that
so
they
much.
still get shit
so
right.
much.
And they get enough shit right for people to be like, let's see how this goes.
And they're like one of the biggest companies on the planet. Like,
yeah, I know,
they
but
can just keep doing it.
And when they get it right,
trust.
Yeah.
Trust is a commodity that is extremely hard to regain once you've lost it.
Yeah.
but I think
Once you've lost it.
I think Google is in such a bizarre situation where they've earned enough trust, and their successful projects and whatnot is enough to keep that trust going.
God knows why anybody trusts Google.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But no, so to our earlier point, we said there's a website that literally tracks all the shit that they've tried and dropped.
Yeah.
Vast majority of people don't even know about that. Vast majority of people are unaware of 90% of the shit that Google has tried to do.
But you think,
that's
hey, what
just
about
not
Google?
there.
And they go, well, search engine, maps.
Search engines, maps, Gmail,
Google
photos,
Maps,
Android
Google
phones,
Maps pretty much
phones.
murdered every GPS maker on the planet.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, by the way, Google Maps is a thing now, and everyone's like, this works better than anything that I paid
like $200
$200 to put in my car.
And it's on my phone now.
Nothing. Go.
And then Apple tried. It's like, yeah, you tried Apple.
Apple
You're
Maps,
okay.
they suck too.
But
Yeah.
no thanks. So to that point, yeah, you're right. You
Yeah.
do not want to be trusting someone where they're just like, here's the thing. Oh shit, it's not right. Forget it. Stadia's gone now. You spent all this money and it's useless to you now. You don't want that, but Google has somehow shoehorned themselves into everybody's lives to the point of they can just keep throwing things to the wayside and still be valid or still be commonplace enough that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So they are in such a situation that they have the ability to be super shitty to everybody, to go, you need us, like you rely on us too much for your hate to break us, or we're so entrenched that we are here to keep helping you and keep improving. So they have that. They have the power.
I guess my point is, like, I don't think that Google's like in trouble, in danger of becoming irrelevant. But they may lose the ability to easily launch a new product and get people to buy into it.
True.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe that's a valid point.
I think that's it now, right? If Google launches something, everyone's kind of like
a little. Let's wait and see.
Looks cool. Want to see what happens.
Yeah, that's where they are now.
Yeah.
One or two more
big things,
big high-profile flops later.
Maybe that's why they're putting more money and more effort into trying to revitalizing this, because it's getting to the point where they're like, we have to save face.
We need to stop having big
But we
flops.
haven't seen. But I mean, that's still hypothetical because we haven't seen them do any of the things that we've laid out, and we're just three guys. I'm sure they've got.
All right, Google, hire us. We'll fix your problem.
I'm sure they've got plenty of consultants telling them that and more. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. I think we have
gone
on quite a bit.
I think we're all good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Please, if you've watched this far, we would love it if you would like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're listening on Spotify, follow our podcast as well for any future updates. There's also leave a review for Apple Podcasts if you're listening through there. Or whatever platform you're looking on.
Or
Again,
SoundCloud, wherever you are.
Or any other, whatever you're listening on, because we're basically on everything.
We're everywhere.
So yes, thank you so much for joining us. There's also links in the description on YouTube and some of the other maybe audio mediums as well.
Wherever else we are.
Of our Discord where we have our community. We all hang out and talk about this kind of stuff all the time. It's a lot of fun.
So join in. One topic we did want to talk about, but obviously they've run out of time for, is like TTRPG video games.
I'm going to talk about that later. That's something we can put in our back pocket.
Yes, we will talk about it later, but also we have been talking about it on Discord.
Yes.
So jump into that if that's your cup of tea.
The current trend of moving from pen and paper RPG games like
video
D&D
games.
and moving them and transitioning them into actual video games like
Which makes a lot of sense.
That is not a recent trend.
No,
that's the thing, but it's coming back.
A big push.
But it's coming back.
It's happening.
Because
at the
Disco
moment.
Elysium, best indie game of last year apparently for the Game Awards, and best debut game also. Like it runs on a TTRPG system. Like this is now a thing that we're into a new age of the tabletop games as video games.
The revival.
The revival.
Exactly. So yes, jump into Discord, chime in, whether it's TTRPG to video games, whether it's just friggin' D&D as a whole, or whether it's coronavirus, whatever it is that you want to talk about, jump onto our Discord.
Jesus.
We're there for the chats. We're always keen to get your opinion on that.
Come and share photos of your toilet paper hoard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Shit posting memes. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Always.
literal shit posting.
All right. Really appreciate your viewing. Thank you guys very much, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.